season. Aside from a couple of little blips here and there, the Wildcats have put together consistent effort after consistent effort, including last weekend's big demolition of the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. It was a 15-3 aggregate score on the weekend for Wichita Falls. 7-1 on Friday night, 8-2 on Saturday night, as they kept the Ice Rays from posting their first road wins of the year. And for the Wildcats, the notable part about that, aside from the fact that they posted 15 goals and they saw both goaltenders put in solid performances over the weekend, the fact that 12 of those 15 goals were scored by different people. That's right, 15 goals scored by 12 different skaters for the Wildcats. It's part of a continuing theme that we've seen from this Wichita Falls squad to start out the 2014-15 campaign. And as we tick towards the halfway mark, it's about time to say that it's not just something to start out the year, and it may develop into a season-long trend. The Wildcats currently have 16 of 20 skaters with 10 or more points. 16 leads the North American Hockey League. No other team has more skaters with double-digit points on their roster than Wichita Falls, thanks to a lot of efforts from guys who had been hovering around the 7, 8, 9 point mark. And last weekend, one of the big guys was Max Reisinger. He had 6 points on the weekend, 3 points on 2 goals and an assist on Friday, 3 points on a goal and 2 assists on Saturday night. Well, Max is traveled back to Europe to join up with the Australian U20 team. He will not be with the squad for the remainder of the first half of the year. He will return in January, but the Cats are going to have to make do without one of their hottest skaters. But as I was just mentioning, that may not be a big deal for the Wildcats. You look up and down the lineup, and they're getting contributions from pretty much everywhere from all 4 units right now, as even looking at the bottom line of Subri and Lazarus and Grant Bateson. We'll set aside Grant Bateson for just a second and give you more info on the affiliate player in just a moment. But Lazarus had a strong weekend last weekend. Subri had a very good showing last weekend with 3 points, including a goal and an assist over in Friday's 7-1 win, I should say. And then moving up the line, Litviak, Yeager, and Oakley have started to put points up on the board after a bit of a quiet spell for a couple of guys there. Sherazin is finding the back of the net with regularity. Nick Farmer has been an offensive catalyst. Austin Albrecht had a good solid weekend last weekend. And of course, the top unit of Austin Bolio, Tommy Apap, and Colin Staub, which will stay together tonight, continues to impress. Bolio leads the team with 24 points on 11 goals and 13 assists. Hot on his heels is Colin Staub with 22. However, on the other side of the ice, Rio Grande Valley was swept last weekend. They were on the road at the NYTEX Center in North Richland Hills, taking on a red-hot Lone Star Brahmas team that has yet to lose in their home building. And that trend continued last weekend as the Bees lost 4-2 on Friday night. They actually had a lead entering that contest, or entering that third period of the contest, I should say, before 3 unanswered for the Brahmas gave them a 4-2 win. The Wildcats have seen that before. Think back to Saturday, November the 22nd. They trailed 2-1 entering the third period, came away with a 4-2 win thanks to 3 goals in the third. Then on Saturday, well, they weren't able to replicate the solid effort from Friday, and they fell 4-0. It was not a good outing for Ben Johansson in net, beg pardon. He allowed 4 goals on 23 shots faced. 4-3 loss on the year. Johansson 6-5-3, 2.80 goals against average, and an 8.88 save percentage for the Ice Race, or for the Killer Bees, as he will get the call in net tonight. He was already lost to the Wildcats once this year. We'll see what he'll be able to come up with tonight. He had a 4.15 goals against average and an 8.92 save percentage in that one contest that he started back in November. Well, I mentioned it a moment ago. 2 teams with differing fortunes, partly because of the way that their schedules has shaken out to start the year. The Wildcats have enjoyed a home-heavy first half of the year, and they've translated that into a very solid start to the season, 11-2-1, 2-0 at the K. Yeager Coliseum. As on the other side, though, things have not gone well for Rio Grande Valley on the road. They've lost 8 of their last 10, all of those losses on the road, as I mentioned. Their last 2 wins came at home, though, against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays the weekend after Thanksgiving, November 28th and 29th. In that one, just to color a little bit the disparity between the Killer Bees at home and on the road, 3.10 goals per game at home for the Bees, 2.44 goals per game on the road for Rio Grande Valley. So they'll be home this weekend looking to pick up another couple of home wins here. They are 5-3-2 at home thus far this season, compared to 4-10-2 on the road. From the Wildcats' point of view, though, they're a bit of an unknown commodity on the road. This is just their 7th true road game of the season, although it's the first of 8 straight road contests. So, if we don't know now what kind of road team the Wildcats are going to be, we're going to learn over the next few weeks exactly how this team might show up in road rinks. Thus far on the year, they've only played 2 true weekend series on the road. They split both of those, first with the Corpus Christi Ice Rays back at the end of October, a 7-4 loss, followed by a 3-1 win, and then a couple weeks back in Odessa, a 4-2 loss on Friday, November the 28th, and a 5-4 win on Saturday, November the 29th. You'll remember that 5-0 win, anything but straightforward, but the trend there is they've lost the first game of the weekend sets thus far. However, thinking back to the other lone away contests they've played, they came out very strong against Amarillo 9-1 in a one-game set, and then a few weeks later they came out strong against Odessa and came away with a 5-4 win in a shootout in that random Tuesday morning game. It was a school day game with the Odessa Jackalopes. Either way, the Wildcats are going to be looking to come out strong in the first few minutes of this contest, establish their game, put a lot of shots on this Rio Grande Valley net. This is a Rio team that is allowing the 13th most shots in the league. However, they're only posting 25.2, which is 23rd fewest shots per game in the league for Rio Grande Valley. More on those numbers as we move along here, but let's get you the starting lineups, and we'll get you first the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees. On the left wing, it'll be Zach Bennett, number 22. Bennett had a couple of points against the Wildcats last time these two met. He stands at 5'11", 180 pounds. The 1997 birth year, hails from Michigan. On the year, Bennett has played in 16 games and has just 1 goal to his credit. That goal did come against the Wildcats. Centering will be Anthony Crossan. Crossan, wearing number 21, 5'11", 175 pounds. Out of Phoenix, Arizona, the 1994 birth year, is second on the team in points, with 6 goals and 13 assists for 19 points. He's got 4 in his last 5 games played. On the right wing, it'll be Parker Wood, the leading scorer for this Rio Grande squad. 6 foot, 185 pounds, the 94 birth year, wears number 11. Parker Wood has 21 points on 9 goals and 12 assists in 25 games. Did not register in the scoring against the Wildcats back in November, as he has posted 5 points in his last 5 games. On the blue line, number 24, Waylon Williams, started the year with the Amarillo Bulls. The 94 birth year stands at 6 foot, 185 pounds. For Rio Grande Valley this year, he has posted 7 points on 2 goals and 5 assists in 13 games played, as he's played in 22 games total this year, posting those same 7 points. On the right side of the blue line, it'll be Rob Click, 6'4", 210 pounds, wearing number 17. Rob Click, out of Macomb, Wisconsin. Check that, out of Blaine, Minnesota. The big defenseman has not posted a point for Rio Grande Valley yet thus far this season in 20 games played. And as I mentioned, starting in net, Ben Johansson, 6'2", 185 pounds, the 94 birth year, out of Sweden. On the year, 6'5" and 3 with a .280 goals against average and an .888 save percentage. Joe Coombs is the head coach of Rio Grande Valley. Josh Brown and Brad Lutch are the assistant coaches. Now for the starting lineups for your Wichita Falls Wildcats. And again, we'll start on the left wing as always. It'll be Kevin Sherazin, 5'10", 165 pounds, out of Jameson, Pennsylvania, wearing number 28. Sherazin leads the team in goals with 14 and is third on the team in points with 21 in 22 games thus far. Nick Farmer will be centering, 6 foot, 185 pounds, out of Spokane, Washington. The third-year Wildcat skater has 17 points on the year on 7 goals and 10 assists in 23 games played. On the right wing, Austin Albrecht, Flemington, New Jersey native, stands at 6 foot, 185 pounds, wearing number 27. He has 10 points on the year after posting a goal last weekend. He has 5 goals and 5 assists in 19 games played. On the blue line, it'll be Matt Cook. He's set a new career high in goals and points. 3 goals, 17 assists for 20 points for the Hastings, Minnesota native. 6'1", 195 pounds, the future Air Force Academy Falcons product. Played in all 23 games for the Wildcats thus far. Pairing with him will be the ever-present Cam Knight out of North Reading, Massachusetts, wearing number 2. He'll head to the University of Alabama, Huntsville next year, but in the meantime, he's posted 19 points on 6 goals and 13 assists. He picked up a Gordie Howe hat trick for the Wildcats in their win last Saturday. And starting in net, David Zevnik, 5'11", 160 pounds, out of Lakeville, Minnesota. Zevnik has very good numbers against Rio Grande Valley in his career. We'll get you those in just a moment, but on this season, he has 7-4-0 with a 2.54 goals against average and a .907 save percentage. But here's what you need to know about David Zevnik. Since he was pulled against the Lone Star Brahmas in that 5-1 loss on October the 4th, Zevnik is 6-1-0 with a 1.87 goals against average and a .929 save percentage. He allowed 12 goals against in his first 4 appearances. He's allowed 12 goals against in the ensuing 7. He's greatly improved his level of play, and he'll get the call here this evening. Head coach of the Wildcats, John LaFontaine, in his first season. Chris Saransky, in his second season, is the sole assistant for the Wildcats. Stephen Royard is tonight's referee with the Orange Armbands, and Kevin Brennan and Derek Carlins will patrol the blue lines as the linesmen. Those are your starting lineups, brought to you by Pelicans Restaurant, located at 2301 Midwestern Parkway, across from Midwestern State University. Pelicans Restaurant offers Texoma, the choicest beef, freshest fish, and the area's best wine list. Next time you're in the Falls, be sure to stop by our friends at Pelicans for fine dining in a family atmosphere. That'll do it for us here on the pregame show. We'll step aside and come back. When we do, we'll have puck drop between the Wildcats and Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees. You're listening to Wildcats Hockey, presented by Armored Roofing on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network.